Hey guys, this is going to be a quick build video on what I'm going to be using as my league starter. If you find it inspirational, feel free to run it. Otherwise, I'm still going to do it. This is not a particularly creative build as far as, what it does or what other people have done before, but it is the kind of build that just scratches my itch. It's fast, things explode, it's very survivable. Completely lags my goddamn game. Yeah. At its core, this is just your standard Ignite-based Elementalist that uses Inpulsa, Storm's Gift, and Stormfire. This allows explosions to chain and give you pretty friggin' fast clear, while at the same time Burning Arrow actually has pretty decent single target. This is, by the way, tier 16 map with Awakening level 8, so besides corrupting it, can't get too much harder than this. I will recommend running this on predictive because anytime you pop a gigantic pack, your screen will sort of freeze, so that might be a downside. But really, it's just go fast, pop gigantic amounts of packs. The only mods you want to be concerned about are can't ignite, obviously, and can't regen. This is going to be too boring to do. Sorry, Cassie. Out of all the builds that I've played, this is probably my favorite, due to just the fact that it is incredibly durable while at the same time doing incredible amounts of damage and having fantastic clear. By the time you get your golems up, you're basically regenning a flask per second. Not a full flask per second, but you're regenning at flask speed, which is kind of insane. Unless they nerf Fireball or Burning Arrow particularly hard, or Elementals in general, this is still going to be insane. Reasons I like it as a starter, pretty much because it starts off as a spell-based build, and spell-based builds on average are pretty damn good starters because they're not very gear dependent. I'm not even going to bother with going into our single target setup. We're just going to... Oh yeah, apparently I had my watchstones juiced. So you start off running Fireball, just your standard Ignite-based Fireball, and then eventually you can just get a bunch of uniques that typically aren't that expensive. Zoph's Nurture. What is it? Daddy and Dawn is a little bit more expensive, but like nothing except for maybe the Impulsa are particularly pricey. So as you can see, it's like pretty much 90% uniques, and then you just get a couple of things that give you decent resists. And that's basically all you need for the most part. And then once you need to get into single target, you can swap out your gloves and your ring, because your gloves are Storm's Gift and your ring is Stormfire. So I'll have the link to the path of building down below in the description. Oh. Yeah, Primordial Chain is probably the expensive bit of it. That was just me playing like an idiot, because I'm doing that go fast thing. Vessel of Vinctar is obviously completely optional, and you could probably get away with similar stuff just by getting... What is it? It's gonna take too long. If you were to get a Dying Sun, that would give you more projectiles, more explosions, or not more explosions, but bigger explosions. And by the way, this isn't like even remotely capped out. Like, you could totally improve this ring You could replace this with an influenced quiver. There's many things you could do to even squeeze more damage out of this build, but I haven't particularly needed to. This cleared all the content. It killed Cirrus, Awakening level 8. It killed All in Delve. I believe we dicked on its Siri. Yeah, it was by far the smoothest build for leveling as well as transitioning into endgame. If you want, you obviously can run this without an Inpulsa, but I have to be honest, it feels bad. Inpulsa Storm's Gifts makes your clear feel so much better. I do have like a pretty beefy cast when damage taken. This is like a huge AoE one. It was on my flash charge. Mana is a little bit of an issue. Obviously, if you have an Orbot, it's pretty nice. Can't remember what I did to help fix mana. Mostly stop shooting so damn quick. If you gem swap into single target setup, I can show that. You basically just stick in Swift Affliction, and then you're pretty much good to go. Yeah, if you wanted to try to squeeze in some mana regen, that would probably make this a bit better. Again, I didn't like bother because this thing was already clearing pretty hard. I like it for T16s. By the way, this doesn't use, like, this is a fairly old build. I made this in, what was it? It wasn't Synthesis, it was like the one after. Metamorph. Pretty sure I made this in Metamorph. So, the kinds of ways that you can use to get more health didn't exist. So if you were to throw in some cluster jewels, you could absolutely make this thing get way more HP. Like, you could get up to 5,500 without single target items, and that would obviously work a little bit better. So, example of single target, swap that in. Wait, no, that's wrong. Have it in the bow. There. Oh, I guess you don't get to see it. This is actually a very bad boss to showcase because she keeps running away. You can't just like one around her. This is actually, that's probably one of the reasons why this boss isn't fantastic, because you can't get all those stacks up. Obviously, our way of getting single target is stacking that debuff. The enchantment for Burning Arrow has increased debuff effect. Isn't necessarily mandatory, but it is super, super nice to have. For single target, like if I'm facing Cirrus, I'll just throw in these gloves. Added damage against burning enemies is the important one, also life. Then just some Wed and extra fire damage to attacks. And that'll replace Storm's Gift and Stormfire, respectively. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You just run through, setting everything on fire and exploding. This will, because you're using a little bit of Pierce, this will pop multiple packs. So again, very great for clear. Not ideal if you're on lockstep because it will freeze when it pops a giant pack. We discovered this in Blight because we had an instance where Inpulsa sort of chained its ignites. Because the thing is, the reason we're running Storm's Gift and Stormfire is because the Inpulsa explosion will ignite because our lightning damage ignites. And then that just sort of chain explodes things. And if it doesn't kill them with only the explosion, then the explosion causes it ignite, which kills enemies typically, which will cause more explosions and ignites. So the chaining effect will sort of lag the game on lockstep, especially again in gigantic blight things. I've had it freeze for like half a second to a second while it tries to calculate all that. But overall, you shouldn't have too many issues, because it doesn't look like Well, we don't know how many things Heist is going to throw at you at once. That's another instance of stuff exploding all at once. Nice, another Legion. Fairly safe if you play not like an idiot. But yeah, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to join the stream at any point, I'll be happy to answer them. And path of building will be down below. Everything on this character will be there. Passive tree has not changed at all. You can probably tweak it again. Add some Fettle stuff on the edge. You could easily get here, stick some Fettle in so that you don't explode like I do during maps. That's it. Thanks, guys.